Good morning, friends. It's Susan Smith with StampCreatively. I have the Nature's Painting Kit. It's a watercolor kit that comes with these watercolor pencils, 8 watercolor pencils, a water painter, and then this beautiful book of ideas. There's all these different images that can be colored. So let me show you what I've done so far. This I did with my granddaughter. And it's hard to tell who did which one because it's so easy to do. Ruby's 10, and so this is me and Ruby coloring together. I wanted to do the Christmas poinsettias because it's going to be Christmas soon. So in these poinsettias, I used every pencil here. I'm going to show you a little bit of how I did that. And yes, it has sparkle. But I'm going to show you a little bit of how I created this so you too can feel confident in watercoloring. Because I have some friends who are like, I can't watercolor. I meant to have this pulled out. And I'm like, yes, you can. You're fine. You're fine. But they don't think they can do it. So I wanted to show you. This one looked a little more complicated than some of the other ones. So I worked on it last night. What I love about watercoloring is it's very much a no-fail craft in my mind. So I'm going to show you a little bit of how I did it. You don't need to see me do this whole thing. I turned on some football and did it yesterday. But again, I used all the colors that are here. My poinsettias, if you look at them, they have lots of colors in them, which I think is totally fine. When you look at a poinsettia, it has lots of colors. And this is way more interesting than just one color. So again, let me show you how I did it. I like to color with a Wink of Stella. This water brush is amazing, and I do use these. But if I have a Wink of Stella that's almost dead, I like to watercolor with it. And then I have this little thing of water on my desk that says don't drink. And so I just dip my Wink of Stella in here, and that's how I get my color. One of the ways that I like to do it, I color 2 ways. One, I pull it off the tip if I want a more intense color. So I'm going to do that to go around the center of the poinsettias. And then I will color with the pencil on the paper too. Okay, so for my leaves, and again, I'm only going to do a couple of each. You don't need to see me do the whole thing. But for my leaves, I used the garden green. And you can color light or dark. You get to pick whichever way you want to do it. And then I went back with Coastal Cabana. And just went over them like that. I also will add a little bit of yellow. Yellow just brightens the images. So you can see like these leaves have a little bit of yellow on them. The poinsettias have a little bit of yellow on them. It just brightens it and defines it a little bit better. And again, adds a little more interest. So then with my water paint, or with my Wink of Stella, I'm going to dip it in my bottle of water. And then I'm just going to kind of start in the center and work my way out. And I will do like all the leaves at once. And then go back and do all the poinsettias. Okay, so there's my pretty leaves. To do the outside edge, I just went over this and colored it real lightly. And went around it and just kind of shaded it just a little bit. You can even put your pencil on the side if you want to shade it. And then I made it nice and wet. And I blended it and just brought it up towards the images. So it's a dark around the edges and kind of comes in towards the images. And then I took, and this is with the Coastal Cabana, and I took a little bit off the tip and went in to some of these spots so they didn't look like they had nothing in there. But it's just a barely baby bit. In here. So you can see how that's giving it a little more definition in those areas. But it's very subtle. All right, now let me show you how I colored a poinsettia. And again, I'm using all of these. So I've used these two for the leaves. Now these all I'm using for my poinsettia. So I'm gonna go in, I'll do this big middle one. Oh, first, I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna go in the center. So I don't accidentally put my color in there. I'm gonna go in these centers right here so I can kind of see the definition in between the leaves. This just makes it a little easier for me to see that these are my leaves. Again, it's very, very light. Okay, so let's color our leaves. So I'm gonna start with my darkest color. I'm gonna use the early espresso, and I'm gonna kind of go around the leaves because I want them to look like one's behind the other. So I'm gonna darken that area. And I'm gonna go around those edges. Stampin' Up! Does such a good job of giving us such pretty images on quality paper. Again, Ruby loves this. Anybody can do it. And what's nice about watercoloring is once it dries, so I've done early espresso, now I'm gonna do my berry burst. I'm just gonna pull out a little bit from that. And I'm not pushing very hard, I'm going pretty light with it all. I have a pencil sharpener and know how to use it if I need to. Again, right now I'm working on the depth. Okay, now I'm gonna add, this is my, it just says red. It doesn't say real red, it just says red. And you can go over the colors. So this time I'm gonna go over those colors. And I'm going to color a lot with this one. Oh, and it's, if you don't see lines, it makes it a little easier, but sometimes I don't. See, I almost colored this part in here. That's why I like having it blue. Not that the person is going to inspect it. This is the flamingo. The person who gets it, if they inspect it and tell me I colored on the wrong spot, I won't send them a card anymore, right? So here's this. So I've added the flamingo to it. So now I've got my pumpkin pie. And again, this is going to kind of brighten it up like the yellow did. And I layer lots of colors. Because I can. So, excuse me. Part of me wants to make sure you're not intimidated by any of this. I have a friend who says she can't watercolor, which she can. She's very talented. But she won't watercolor because it's too intimidating. I'm like, oh my gosh, stop. Okay. So you can see all those colors I've put down in that poinsettia. That's a lot. Now, let's make the magic happen. Ready? I'm going to start here at the base with the darkest. And I just want to make sure my brush stays wet. And again, the water painter that Stampin' Up! Gives us is perfect. It works great. I just like a little bit of shimmer in mine. And so I will add the Wink of Stella and just a little bit of water. I'm going to do this one. If I make them all the same color, you can't see those little flower petals very well. And what's great about watercoloring is you can go back and add color anytime you want. So this one over here that's done, I'll show you how I'll add some color to it. I'll add some color to this one too when I'm all done. But I did one poinsettia at a time. And you could color them all at once if you wanted to. This is just the way I chose to do it. It's your picture. You can do it the way you want. We are getting ready for Thanksgiving at our house. We have about 20 people coming over Thursday. Our daughter comes in from St. Louis tomorrow. No, that's not true. Wednesday. Today's just Monday. I have a list on the counter of what I do on each day. Okay, I like my poinsettia. I want it a little bit darker. So I'm going to pull some red off the end and add a little more intense color. Of red in some of these spots. I still like all my layers of color. I don't want to change any of that because again, it makes my flower interesting. Even though I'm putting color on top, you can still see that there's color under. I was real happy yesterday working on this. Watching my show. And then this is how I went. I did the berries like this. I just got it. And because all the berries aren't the same color, I can get quite a few done, and then they're different shades of red. Okay, I'm still playing with this because I can. What do you think? How do I look? Isn't that pretty? Oh, I'm not bleeding. I just wipe it off on my hands and my pants. There's always, you know, a little bit of color on me. So I can keep messing with this as long as I want. I just like it. I like all the colors. So this one has sat for 24 hours. And I have those really interesting leaves. I have my interesting flowers. But I can always go back. Because it's on watercolor paper, that's one of the things that makes it so you can do this. So I can go back and say, oh, let's do a little bit more right here. Or over here. I like to leave a little bit of white in my images. It just makes it interesting so I don't go all the way to the edges. What do you think, friends? You'll have to let me know. Post in here what you've done with some of the kits too. I want to see if you've made these into cards or what you've done with them because I think they're so pretty. So please let me know what you've done. Again, it's therapy. Before I get descended on, I can do a little therapy. All right, friends, thanks for joining me. Gosh, you have a great day. Bye.